What's going on, everyone? Kyle here, and today I wanted to go over exactly how to address failure. Now, failure isn't something that has to be catastrophic, but it's something we deal with in our day-to-day lives. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to take these principles and apply them to every single aspect of life where you feel like maybe you're not performing exactly where you want to be, or something very negative has happened to you, and how to bounce back from it and how to keep going. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, reason number one is why you should be open to failure and how to deal with failure is just the simple fact that you have to be able to make the best situation out of whatever it is you have. Now, the first failure I ever really had was when I bought an iPhone. I bought it for $11. Now, this is kind of ridiculous. I was in the 7th grade, middle school, and I bought this phone off of a friend and had to crack screen. It worked fine, but it had to crack screen. There was no really repair guides online at the time, or there might have been, but I didn't know where they were, and I didn't know exactly how to do it. But I bought a part off of eBay to try and fix it. And when I went to try and fix it, I broke it even worse, and then the screen was cracked, and then nothing worked by the time I was trying to fix it. This thing was pretty much a dud at this point. So now I went from having this iPhone that I bought for $11, I probably could have flipped, tried to fix it, but instead I failed at repairing it because I had just started and just was learning. And then I created this kind of like idea of like, okay, well, how can I recover from this? Because I know $11 isn't the biggest investment, but it's the reality of knowing that I had something of value and I literally broke it. So I failed in whatever it is that I was trying to do. Fortunately, it wasn't a customer's phone because I've learned from that as well when I was fixing phones back in the day. But this particular phone, I said, okay, how can I minimize my kind of overall failure? Let me try and see if I can put it on eBay. So I put it on eBay for an auction, and I was like, as long as I can get the $11 and the amount of the part back out of it, I'll be good. And I actually ended up selling the phone for around $70. So, and that was broken, and that was, with everything else. So I ended up making money on something that was broken. And this has happened before with the vehicle I bought, the first car I ever bought. The clutch went out on it, not because I didn't know how to drive it, but because the throttle got stuck while I had somebody else drive it, and then by default it burnt out the clutch completely, and that was a big issue. But I actually bought the car for $1,100 and I sold it for $1,300 broken. So I understand that's like, people, you could say like, oh my goodness, like you just got lucky both of those times. And let me be honest with you, it's because I didn't give up, and that's going to be reason like number one. Like, that's so important. Like, understand that all these processes, like if you don't make it through, it's just a learning experience. But just realize that when you fail, like if you don't give up, you might be able to like recoup. Like you might be able to take that negative experience and turn it into a positive one. And I always say things that are cliche. It's because cliche things are true. But you think about, if I take this certain thing and I just don't give up because the things kind of went south, and I just get rid of it, but I make sure I get rid of it and recoup my funds, I can kind of start back at square one instead of completely writing it off and starting at, just getting into a bad mood about it, or just not dealing with it appropriately. So number one is just kind of make the best of your current situation. Number two would be to focus on the constants that you do have. Now, that means pretty much focus on the things you can control. Focus on the actions you can take, even when things are going south and just things are not working the way you want them to. And there's a lot of different variables in your life. Look at the things you can't control to keep relative consistency, because that's going to give you the ability to keep your purpose in line while you're having these discrepancies in other areas. The big thing with routine in anything, whether you're going to work or you're going to the gym or you're eating healthy or you're just making steps towards building your business, whatever it may be, is that when you create a routine, things compile, and by default, things churn out. So if something's bad, things will keep moving. And that kind of brings it to the grand point of understanding that what goes up must come down, and what comes down must go back up, as long as there's a constant speed of something. So the big kind of overarching concept of this video is to just not give up. And I don't even want to say it like that, because I know that sounds, like I said before, so ridiculously cliche to say, but just understand that as long as you keep a constant energy and you constantly keep putting effort in, even if it's the most minuscule task, that you will be able to combat any failures that you may have. Now, you don't have to be completely, you don't have to be a completely hard ass about failing. You don't have to go right back out to work. But what I will say is that it will help you a lot to be more productive after something catastrophic happens to you, because it'll give you the ability to grow back and kind of get your mind out of the whole gutter of whatever it is that was, and it'll kind of give you the ability to move forward. So with that being said, like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Subscribing would mean the absolute world to me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.